Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. So because of all the Arrow Flash spin-off news, I wanted to do a dedicated video for the top 5 stories I think they should adapt. And I'll also try to explain what kind of show I think it's going to be. They haven't said what the name is going to be, like what the title they're going to call it is. It could be All Stars, it could be The Atom. Because it's going to be an ensemble team-up show, I think that they're going to pick from one of the DC teams. Obviously, they're not going to let them use the name Justice League, but there's always Justice Society, there's always All Stars, any variation on that, Infinity Inc. Just think of all the teams that do not use the words Justice League. I still think that the Atom is going to be the quarterback of the team, and because there's still a lot of question as to how it's going to use Firestorm, I can't really say a whole lot about that. Martin Stein's going to be on the show, that's all we know. We don't know if Robbie Amell is going to be on it. Just to add a little context, if you don't know about the history of this spin-off show, originally it was just supposed to be for the Atom. It was going to be like his own show. But I think they saw the Firestorm episodes and everyone responded so well to that character that the CW was like, please give us more Firestorm. And this is the easiest way for them to do it without crowding Team Flash. That's one of the bad parts about having so many awesome guest actors on Arrow and the Flash, is that a lot of those actors can carry their own shows, but there's no room for them right now. So that's what this new show is for. That's why Captain Cold, arguably a rogue that should stay on The Flash, is going on the team-up show. Just because as an actor, Wentworth Miller is so good, he needs more screen time, but you can only use Captain Cold so much on The Flash. Given the characters that they have right now, I'm choosing to think of this more as like a full-blown Science Bros show, like Flaro Science Bros. So considering that, here are the top 5 comic book storylines I think they should adapt. Starting off with number 5, Justice Society, Justice Be Done. This was the first new JSA story of the modern age. It was all about them putting the team back together. It featured Black Canary, Atom Smasher, the Jay Garrick Flash, Wildcat, Wonder Woman, Hourman, and a couple other lesser characters. They all come together to help the new Dr. Fate fight Mordo. As you can see, they'd have to change some aspects of this, get rid of the magical elements, and make it more of an X-Files, CSI, tech-based adventure show. Like solving paranormal metahuman mysteries using Palmer Tech and Martin Stein's science. Regardless of which story they choose to adapt, I mean, the tone of the show is going to flow from the characters that they have. Firestorm and Atom, total Science Bros. Constantine and the new Lucifer show that Fox is doing, those are like the magic shows, so all the magic stuff is probably going to be localized to that. Of course I say that, and they'll probably announce some magic-based character for The Flash Season 2. I feel like that show has almost no limits. Moving on to number 4 though, Brightest Day. So this is a story where Ronnie Raymond came back from the dead and the Firestorm Matrix starts acting all weird. Ronnie goes back to Pittsburgh University to try and put his life back together, gets into a fight with Jason Rush, and when Jason punches him, they fuse into Firestorm with Ronnie in control. It's just that earlier in the comics during the Infinite Crisis storyline, Ronnie Raymond died, Jason Rush took the mantle and became the Firestorm of the comics. So Ronnie Raymond comes back and they have to figure out who's going to be Firestorm and what it's going to look like. So you get Martin Stein off by himself, just being Martin Stein in human form, super smart scientist, and then you have 2 young characters flying around in Firestorm. Things got really timey-wimey after that with the Death Storm, like the Black Lantern Firestorm. I don't think they're going to do any of that kind of stuff, but I do think that they're going to change who gets to be inside the Firestorm Matrix. I think that that would go a long way towards explaining how Martin Stein can be on this spin-off show without Robbie Amell being on it and them being Firestorm together. So if Robbie Amell is going to continue to be Firestorm and not be on the spin-off show, that means that they're going to have to find a way to bring Jason Rush into the equation. Moving on to number 3, the Firestorm Protocols. So this is a New 52 storyline where Ronnie Raymond and Jason Rush have to deal with a bunch of rogue Firestorms that have been created when other people get their hands on Martin Stein's Firestorm Protocols. It's basically blueprints for creating more Firestorms. They kind of teased this in the Flash episode 14 when General Eiling said the military scientists found a way to extract the Firestorm Matrix from Martin Stein's body. If they did that, they'd be able to replicate an army of Firestorms. That was what General Eiling was trying to do. So that plotline's always going to be a threat. There'll always be people trying to steal the secret of Firestorm. Moving on to number 2, the Fury of Firestorm. This was the very first story that they told in the New 52 Firestorm comics, like right after Flashpoint. In this continuity, Martin Stein is dead, but he's given his research to Jason Rush, and both Jason and Ronnie Raymond are able to become Firestorm on their own, so you have 2 different Firestorms at once. Martin Stein bequeaths something called the God Particle to Jason Rush. It's just research of his based on the Firestorm Matrix. It causes both Firestorms to fuse together into this like mega combiner Firestorm called the Fury. It's like the next evolution of Firestorm's power, so it's really interesting. Hopefully they'll deal with that on the show. They've been doing a lot of superpowers on The Flash. I think that they'll go full steam ahead on this spin-off show too. There was also a time as part of an earlier storyline when the Atom actually shrinks down to go inside the Firestorm Matrix and walk around and see what's happening. So there have actually been a lot of crossovers between Atom and Firestorm stories. So I imagine that was also a big discussion point when they were deciding what kind of team-up show this was going to be. You get the general gist though. You have the Atom, billionaire just like Oliver Queen, funding this team of superheroes with this wise scientist, Martin Stein, helping them out. Hopefully we'll get like an X-Files adventure show vibe. I'm really hoping for like X-Files in the DC universe. And this one is a total long shot, but my number one pick would be the birth of the Red Tornado. Remember how I said I'm expecting full-blown science bros? Well, what's the next logical step in that they haven't done in the TV DC universe yet? Artificial intelligence. Right now, there's a very popular movie that's coming out soon that's dealing with that idea. And for those that haven't read the comics, yes, Red Tornado, total analog of the Vision from Avengers. Evil villain creates an android to infiltrate superhero team and take them down. In the DC universe, T.O. Morrow is the scientist that creates Red Tornado to take down the Justice League. The really cool thing is that he used to work at Star Labs. Because Star Labs is such a big thing on The Flash already, you already have this big point of crossover to tell this huge story. So the birth of the Red Tornado is just a point of crossover for all of the CW shows. I mean, you could tie in like the Supergirl show too, but I'm not expecting as much crossover with that as I am with shows that are on the same network. Here's my big question for you guys. Which storyline do you want to see them adapt for this new spin-off show? Just remember, if Arrow can do Batman stories, then you can pick from Justice League, any comic book story you want. There are a couple characters that I'd really like to see them try and do, like Booster Gold, Red Tornado, obviously at some point. I'm not expecting Green Lantern. I feel like he might be introduced in the movies first before we see him on TV. I know there are lots of Green Lanterns they could do, but I feel like DC would be really reticent to let him appear on TV if they have a big movie planned for him. Just because so many of these shows are on different networks, there are a lot of questions about who gets to use which side characters. So hopefully by the time we get to Comic-Con, all the networks will have announced who they've cast, which characters they're using, so we'll have a better idea of what it's going to look like. Here's a roundup of all the different shows on the different networks. So on the CW, we have Arrow, The Flash, a Vixen digital cartoon. That's not going to be on TV. That'll be on the web. And then now the Atom Firestorm spinoff. At Fox, there's Gotham. That's coming back for season 2. Then there's the Lucifer show. That's actually part of Neil Gaiman's Sandman universe. CBS has Supergirl. TNT has the live-action Teen Titans show. And NBC hasn't said anything about Constantine yet. So we'll just put a big question mark there. But those are all the TV shows. I know I haven't done a lot of Supergirl videos yet, but I will start doing some soon. While I was making this video, they actually announced Dean Cain and Helen Slater are being cast for the pilot. That's a pretty big WTF. They didn't say who they're playing. They just said they've been cast in the pilot, so no idea if they'll return in recurring roles, like that they'll be on the show every week. It could be like a John Wesley Shipp thing where they play Kara's Kryptonian parents. Here's a really interesting thing that we need to think about. Because Supergirl's origin is tied to the bottled city of Kandor, I'm really interested to see if the show is going to go there or if they're just going to bypass it altogether. There's no way we're going to make it through Comic-Con without people asking him those questions, so hopefully we'll learn more pretty soon. The show itself is going to be procedural because it's on CBS, so no idea like how meta they're going to get with comic book storylines. For those that are asking, yes, I am going to be doing weekly videos for the show whenever it comes, so be sure to subscribe to get all that stuff. I'll start doing bonus videos pretty soon too. I have no idea what the fall schedule is going to be. Hopefully it all works out and all the shows don't air on the same day. That'd be a nightmare for me. Because it's Friday and I've already done a whole bunch of DC videos, I think my next video is going to be the Black Panther video that I keep putting off. So while you guys wait for that, you can click here to catch up on The Flash, and you can click here to catch up on Arrow. Thank you so much for watching, so let's all high five. Everybody, live long and prosper. May you rest in peace, Leonard Nimoy.